A nondescript username, a wall of text on Reddit, just another post in the vast sea of the internet. It should have been lost in the digital abyss, but this was different. This was a confession that would shake the online community.
A young man, hidden behind the anonymity of the internet, confessed to an elaborate act of fraud. His words were raw, unfiltered, and shocking. I had faked my way into one of the most prestigious universities in the United States. The audacity of his claim was staggering.
The internet exploded. The story was compelling, gripping the attention of thousands. It detailed the lengths to which this individual, a self-proclaimed genius, went to deceive the institution. His meticulous planning and execution were almost unbelievable. People were captivated. This wasn't just about academic dishonesty, it was a story about ambition, desperation, and the allure of the American dream. It resonated deeply with many.
The post went viral overnight. Thousands of users dissected every word, speculating about the identity of the confessor and the university he had infiltrated. The mystery only added to the intrigue.
News outlets picked up the story, turning a digital confession into a national sensation. It was no longer just an online phenomenon. The boy, once hidden in the digital world, was now at the center of a very public storm. His anonymity was shattered. The confession was a page-turner. It provided a glimpse into the mind of a master manipulator, a young man willing to risk it all for a shot at greatness. His story was both fascinating and disturbing, but it also raised unsettling questions about the integrity of the system, the pressure to succeed, and the lengths to which people will go to achieve their dreams. It was a mirror reflecting society's deepest anxieties. His name remains unknown. The Reddit post concealed his true identity, but we know him as Ethan, the alias he chose for his confession. Ethan's story didn't begin with grand schemes of academic fraud. It started small, almost innocuous.
I was a bright kid, but school held little interest. I found the curriculum mundane, the pace stifling.
His disdain for traditional learning manifested in subtle acts of rebellion. He forged his parents' signatures on report cards. He fabricated excuses for missed assignments. He was a master of deception, effortlessly weaving believable narratives that concealed his lack of effort.
My parents, oblivious to my growing talent for deceit, remained preoccupied with their own lives. They saw glimpses of brilliance in me and attributed my academic apathy to boredom. They believed I was destined for greater things, unaware that I was already on a path of my own making.
This lack of oversight provided fertile ground for Ethan's deception to flourish. His early successes fueled a dangerous belief. He was smarter than the system. He could outmaneuver it, manipulate it to his advantage. This belief, coupled with his growing ambition, set the stage for a far more audacious deception, conquering the hallowed halls of an Ivy League university. Ethan's gaze shifted towards the United States, a land that seemed to promise endless possibilities. He saw it as a land of opportunity, a place where brilliance was recognized and rewarded, where dreams could be turned into reality. He set his sights on an Ivy League education, the ultimate symbol of success and prestige in the academic world. His grades, however, painted a different picture, one that was far from the excellence he aspired to. He was a mediocre student at best, his transcript littered with inconsistencies that betrayed his lack of genuine effort and focus.
Undeterred by these setbacks, I saw an opportunity to turn things around. I realized that the American education system, with its emphasis on extracurricular activities and personal essays, presented a unique avenue for manipulation and creativity. It wasn't enough to just have good grades. I needed something more. I needed a story, a compelling narrative that would set me apart from the thousands of other applicants vying for the same coveted spots in top universities.
He immersed himself in the world of college admissions, meticulously studying successful applications and dissecting the formula for acceptance into elite institutions. He crafted a fictional persona, a brilliant student leader, a gifted athlete, a compassionate volunteer, each role carefully designed to impress. He fabricated glowing letters of recommendation from fictitious mentors, each one singing his praises and vouching for his exceptional character and achievements.
I spent months crafting a personal essay, pouring my heart and soul into a fictionalized account of my life, making it as compelling as possible. I wrote about overcoming adversity that I never faced and pursuing my passions that I never had, creating a story that was both inspiring and believable. My essay was a masterpiece of deception, a meticulously crafted tapestry of lies designed to tug at the heartstrings of the admissions committee and secure my place in their institution.
Section 4. The deception deepens, acceptance and arrival.
The acceptance letters arrived in the spring. I held my breath as I opened each one, my hands trembling slightly. My heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, each letter a potential gateway to a new life. To my delight, I had been accepted to not one, but 3 Ivy League universities. It felt like a dream come true. My carefully constructed facade had worked. I had managed to deceive the system. I had successfully gamed the system, and it felt like a personal victory. The weight of my deception, however, began to settle in. The initial euphoria was quickly replaced by a heavy sense of dread. The excitement of my achievement was tainted with a gnawing sense of guilt and fear. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was living on borrowed time. I knew I was living a lie, and the stakes were higher than ever. The fear of being discovered loomed over me constantly. I was entering a world where I didn't belong, surrounded by brilliant minds and driven individuals who had earned their place. I felt like an imposter.
He pushed these thoughts aside, choosing instead to revel in his triumph. He arrived on campus a whirlwind of confidence, effortlessly blending in with his accomplished peers. He attended classes, participated in discussions, and even joined a prestigious student organization, all the while maintaining the illusion of a brilliant and dedicated student. His facade was flawless.
The pressure, however, was immense. I lived in constant fear of exposure, terrified that a single misstep would unravel my carefully constructed web of lies. The anxiety was overwhelming. I spent sleepless nights studying, desperately trying to keep up with the rigorous coursework and compensate for my fraudulent academic background. The toll it took on me was immense, both physically and mentally.
Section 5. A Life of Lies, Navigating the Ivy League.
My life at the university was a constant balancing act. On the surface, I exuded an air of confidence and belonging. I excelled in my classes, impressing professors with my sharp intellect and insightful observations. I formed close bonds with classmates, becoming a trusted friend and confidant. Beneath this veneer of success, however, lay a deep-seated fear. The fear of being exposed gnawed at me, casting a shadow over my every move. I meticulously maintained my fabricated persona, constantly on guard against any slip-ups that might reveal my true identity.
He excelled in his classes not through genuine academic prowess, but through sheer cunning and an uncanny ability to absorb information at an alarming rate. He became a master of deception, manipulating every situation to his advantage and deflecting any suspicion that arose.
I lived a double life, the charade becoming an integral part of my identity. The guilt and fear became my constant companions. They fueled my drive for success, pushing me to work harder, to strive for perfection in every aspect of my fabricated life. I was caught in a vicious cycle, my deception fueling my success perpetuating my deception.
Section 6. The walls close in, the beginning of the end.
As time passed, cracks began to appear in my carefully constructed facade. The pressure of maintaining my double life took its toll. The constant fear of exposure led to sleepless nights and a growing sense of paranoia. I withdrew from social gatherings, my once charming demeanor replaced with a palpable anxiety. My academic performance, once stellar, began to falter. I struggled to keep up with the demanding coursework, my energy depleted from the constant need to maintain my charade. I made careless mistakes on exams, my grades slipping from their lofty perch.
His professors, once impressed by his intellect, noticed a change in his demeanor. They saw a once bright student now withdrawn and anxious, his eyes betraying a deep-seated fear. Suspicions arose, whispers exchanged in hushed tones. Was Ethan truly who he claimed to be?
My carefully constructed web of lies began to unravel, thread by thread. The foundation upon which I had built my fraudulent life was crumbling, threatening to bury me under the weight of my own deception. The walls were closing in, and I knew it.